Hello everyone, and welcome to VOD of Consciousness with Sientir. I'm Sientir, and today I want to run in a quest and take care of a few items in my inventory. Most of these are just merchant food, frankly, because I'm going to be blunt. Purple runes are not worth much unless if they are vigor. This is a really cool zone, but we're not going to spend a whole lot of time here. I did spend time between episodes. Ooh, I definitely want to be off hard mode. Switching between what's the word I'm looking for? I spent some time between episodes setting up my party again because I had borked it royally for good reason, but temporary reason. Ooh, I like this song. Oh yeah, I'm not doing vanquishing stuff right now. That's not what I'm trying to do. What's the current bounty? Harbor Earth Call? And this is... Oh, Marstave Trail. I'll grab it, because why not? Yep. Let's see, I did everything for that one, right? Teark Orchard. Yeah. This one doesn't reward as well, you can see. Okay, so if I want... Because the other mission one that I have is Augury Rock. What does this one reward? Another 100. So that's effectively... Let's see, that's another 2. Wow, yeah, it takes a lot of these, is what I'm seeing. Okay, so I'm not going to worry too much about any of the Zaishan coin stuff. And instead, I am going to... yeah, because every stack of these is 5 more silvers, or half a gold, so yeah, it actually takes quite a lot. That's a very slow conversion ratio. Okay, I know what I want to do, which is head towards the Sepulchre of Dragrimmar. But for that, I want to first clear out my inventory. So, Major Hammer... Like, major runes are just universally not worth much because minus 35 health is usually not worth it. There isn't anything for inscriptions. I can see clearly now reducing blind duration isn't bad, but honestly, this is just not great either. Major wind prayers and Sentry. Sentry, I think, is a general one. It is also not worth anything, and major wind prayers is Dervish, and also not worth anything. Windwalker is very expensive because dervishes want to be stacked up on enchantments. That one's not useful. Yeah, but minor runes you can see are generally worthwhile. I'm surprised Earth Prayers is worth that much, actually. Anyway, as I suspected, this is basically all just merchant fodder. That's just kind of the fate of purples everywhere. Not very good. Minor and superior runes are generally where the value is at, if you're going to have value on runes. That's just full of miniatures, just full of them. A lot of this is just like stuff I'm hanging on to. That's like Survivor, for example. Minor Spear Mastery and just various other things. Because I want to put them on armor for dudes. But anyway, that's not what we're about right now. Right now, I'm trying to think of... Okay. Brain, let's work together here. I want to go to the Eye of the North. So... Sepulchre of Dragrimmar. Where is that? Let's just go to Safala. This is where I use my top secret technique of... anything you can do is the name of the quest. And I should really have on my Slayer of Imps title. Sure, whatever, I understand. You do things. Okay, and I need to take out the fragment of Antiquity's Sepulchre of Dragrimmar. Okay. It's over there. Cool. Now I know where I'm going. I can take care of this. Okay. So that was a lot of busy work, but that happens in this game, and I suspect this dungeon is probably going to be the next several missions. It's just how it goes. I do not have an elite skill on this bar. I just realized that. This is actually quite telling that I don't have an elite skill, because you can get away with not using one because, like, all of the elite skills are just that bland, I guess, for lack of a better phrase, that I just did not think to put one on my bar. Like, this is probably okay, but, like, I'm just not going to be under the effects of a shout chant that much. Honestly, it just makes sense to go ahead and put Cruel Spear on for the deep wound rather than Blazing Spear. Blazing Spear is not bad, but, like, meh. It's largely irrelevant. Either way. So, I need to go this way for the Sepulchre of Dragrimmar. I might as well punch this guy in the face. You might notice I'm part warrior. In order to use Flurry, it improves build-up speed for
Are you hunting something?
my stuff that I'm using. So whatever. We have some Jotun we're going to need to fight through, because we're going over this way. So, let's get back to our random thoughts. I had taken a note that something that I want to talk about was how annoyed I get with emotional appeal-based arguments. The sort of front and center of what I'm talking about can be summed up with think of the children. I don't like those sorts of arguments because, A, I think they're a bit silly, but the other problem that I have with them is that why should children be elevated above adults in that sort of way? I think that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I appreciate some of the sentiment. Okay, let's just stand here until all of this stuff is cleared from me. I appreciate where some of that sentiment is coming from, but I do find it really kind of frustrating. Man, it is so focus intensive to just kind of do things here that, like, I feel like it would be easier to ramble about stuff and play Dark Souls maybe, but I don't know. Okay, where was I? It's much easier to have commentary about the game than when you're playing it. But yeah, the think of the children argument is fun, like the purest example of it. Think of the children also gets brought up a lot in times where people don't have any better moral argument. And this is actually kind of brings me to a bit of an aside, but I get really annoyed by sort of, I don't know, how do I describe this? Okay, let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take this, whatever. Never anger a Norn. But there's, I think, a confusion between innocence and ignorance and naivete. I don't think children are innocent in the way that people usually talk about innocent. Typically, that phrase is like innocent of sexuality, anyway, rather than any other more useful innocence, which I find to be a bit peculiar as it is. This is a dungeon, therefore it is, shall we say, inspired by... Oh my goodness, where is all of my energy? What happened to all of my energy? But as I was saying, ignorance is lack of knowledge, and naivete is... what's the best way to describe it? Like, having a fundamental lacking of understanding of how the world works, I guess you could say. When somebody's naive, that is typically a way of saying that they don't really understand what's going on or how things work. And it's an unfortunate thing that this sort of naivete that children have gets elevated as some sort of virtue. It gets called innocence. We have to be really careful here, by the way. Frozen soil prevents people from being resurrected. And the fact that it's oriented towards sexuality so much, I think, is very strange as well. Oh, Quickening Zephyr. Okay, icy stalagmites need to go down. So the reason why I'm specifically focusing on these guys, the icy stalagmites, is they have a bunch of nature spirits that they use that are kind of messing everything up for us right now. But that sort of ignorance and naivete, again, why it tends to be so sexually focused, I don't know, but that's called innocence is very perplexing to me. Innocence is being free of committing crime, and somehow saying that knowledge of something is a crime doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And I don't want to be glorifying that sort of state and ignoring the lack of innocence that children often have. Because children are often very cruel. And, I mean, bullies, are they innocent? Right? They're children. And, again, this goes back to sort of what I was talking about earlier. This sort of bizarre assertion that sexuality... That tends to be what it seems focused on to me, at least from the U.S. perspective of this concept. And the idea that sexuality is something to be innocent of, that it's somehow corrupting to a person to be a sexual being, is very bizarre to me. I don't know how that idea developed or came about or got so embedded in popular consciousness, but it certainly seems to have. Hopefully taking that dwarf quest didn't mess things up, now that I'm thinking about it. There's some possibility that it may have. Oh well. But anyway, think of the children's type stuff, or like another example, if I may, is like baby on board bumper stickers. It's like, why should I be driving safer if there's a baby on board? I should try to be driving safe for the sake of the adults too. That sort of thing feels like a bizarre, logical concept. And I don't quite understand it, to be blunt. I don't quite understand what it's applying. We are getting a lot of pain coming from somewhere. In retrospect, trying to bring a necromancer down here was probably a mistake. There we go. Finally got the energy for that. And I don't know. I guess kind of what I'm trying to get at is I really wish that conversations wouldn't be kind of predicated on this idea. Yeah, Elias was a mistake. I need to take these guys out. Maybe not. Looks like we got a gap. And I feel like think of the children arguments are emotionally based, and they're basically saying, and again, like, it's not that emotions aren't important, but that we have to be really careful about trying to use them as the basis of arguments about how we should do things. And as I was saying, like, if you need to think of the children, you need to think of the adults too, most likely, or you're talking about sexuality, in which case is like, why? And I don't think trying to protect children should necessarily prohibit adults from certain things. Obviously, there are certain things where it's protecting children from adults that is what you're trying to accomplish, but my basic point with all of this is that emotional appeals are arguments that I kind of get tired of, and they don't feel like the best type of argument to me. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here, because we've had a bunch of long episodes, and I want this one to not be that long. So until next time, everyone, take care. Bye-bye.